Talk to me about the audit. What stood out to you most?
Well, I think the audit really amplified what the civil rights organizations have been really seriously concerned about with the platform, about how the platform has been weaponized for voter suppression, for problems around online hate, and that the company itself has not done enough on these issues yet to be able to give us sufficient comfort. In a lot of ways, the civil rights audit has been going on for the last 2 years. Many of our organizations have been very involved with it since its inception. There's been some progress made. The audit and the external pressure we've brought has resulted in Facebook changing unlawful and discriminatory ad targeting that was happening on the platform. We've obtained a civil census disinformation policy and enforcement regime, but on things like voting in elections, fighting hate online, the lack of in-house civil rights infrastructure and expertise, these remain really serious things that the company has yet to accomplish.
And on the call with executives yesterday, what real changes, real announcements came out of that that you like?
Well, the leadership conference did a call yesterday with Sherilyn Ifill from the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. I was on the call, and it was a call that came on the tail end of the call by boycott organizers. And we were really honing in. It was a continuation of a call to dig in pretty deep with Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg about how the platform is dealing with voter suppression and what they're going to do to protect fair elections in a climate where this country is as polarized as we may have ever been, where we have elected officials and politicians spewing out misinformation about legitimate voting methods almost on a daily basis, where this is only going to get more intensified, where problems around white supremacy and hate online is going unchecked and unpoliced. And so this was a conversation to continue that push. The Civil Rights Audit Report, I think, gives a certain heft to the concerns that we've been levying, but this is not the end game by any stretch of the imagination. The company is under enormous pressure from civil rights advocates in this audit, from the boycott, from employees internally who have been dismayed about some of the decisions that Mark has made vis-a-vis, posts from the president and others that I think really seek to weaponize the platform. And we have made some progress, as I said, on some of these policies and getting Facebook to have a voter suppression policy, having a more rigorous policy to combat hate online. But there are core omissions and actions that the company has yet to take and those are pretty clearly outlined in the report. And I think these are things that are going to be very much remaining top of the agenda for those of us who are working every day to kind of protect our democracy and make sure that Facebook and other social media platforms are not undermining them in the way that we've seen happen in 2016 here in the United States, but also around the world.
Did you walk away from that meeting thinking Facebook is more prepared for the election?
No, because I think that there remain pretty significant steps that we are asking the company to take. Facebook did make some recent announcements that, at our urging, around pushing and promoting voter registration, creating an online voter education portal to provide accurate information to voters. We've got a situation here where we're going to have a November election amid a global pandemic. We're pushing for states to get ready. We've seen terrible situations in places like Wisconsin and Georgia, states unprepared to carry out elections amid this pandemic. And that's part of the work that's ongoing. But there's going to be a massive voter education effort underway this summer and the fall, and so much room for disinformation to chill participation, to make people afraid. And that's the kind of thing that Facebook needs to be ready for. And until they adequately police politicians who actively stoke fear and try to seek to use voter suppression, we're not going to be satisfied. I think they are still in action mode in terms of thinking about this, but we have to see, I mean, the proof will be in the pudding over the next few weeks, and time is clearly of the essence.
To push back on that, though, critics often say they don't want Facebook to be the platform and the police. Do you want regulation, or do you want Facebook to be a platform and a policer?
Well, Facebook, is already has community standards. They have adopted those community standards. They have policies in place. So it isn't that they are some kind of neutral platform where anything goes. They have made the choice in repeatedly through policy adoption to police certain things over others. They have policies in place that they're not enforcing, and so this is not a kind of either or. This is about Facebook taking seriously the policies that they have adopted and going further to ensure that the platform doesn't become this hotbed of misinformation and disinformation that undermines our democracy and hurts vulnerable communities in the process. And so this really is also about making sure that civil rights laws are applied and ensured in the platform. That's what the push to end unlawful ad targeting was about for so many of the civil rights groups in the advocacy we were doing with Facebook.